This is ABC 7 News at 6.
It is veto day at the legislature, and we are monitoring the House of Representatives, which has yet to act on a hotly contested piece of legislation. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Beth Jones. That legislation seeks to allow access to certain confidential records pertaining to DHHS child welfare cases. Our Callie Warren joins us now live from Augusta with more on what's transpiring today. Callie.
Well, Beth, veto day is a time for our legislators to return to Augusta to take up any unfinished business that they might still need to examine and, as the name implies, address any vetoes from the governor. The Senate adjourned a little after 4:30 p.m., but the House still has one item on the table. According to representatives that we've spoken with, the House is expected to be back in session at 8 p.m. tonight. There is only one bill left to take up, which is LD 127, and as you were saying, that, if enacted, would strengthen legislative oversight of agencies such as DHHS and allow legislators to review confidential records. Earlier, the House attempted to adjourn without taking that LD back up, but that was voted down by representatives on both sides of the aisle. The House does need to take that back up for a vote tonight, but it cannot be enacted by the Senate because the Senate is no longer in session. So certainly making for a complicated situation tonight and a very uncertain future for that LD, but we'll keep bringing updates as the evening goes on. For now, Beth, back to you.
Callie, thank you for that update. Meanwhile, legislators, advocates, and survivors of poor treatment in Maine's Office of Child and Family Services gathered at the State House today, calling on lawmakers to override Governor Janet Mills' veto of that bill aimed at strengthening legislative oversight. Now, the bill would reaffirm lawmakers' access to confidential records involving government agencies and programs. In the past 5 years, more than 150 children have died while under OCFS care or supervision. Supporters say stronger oversight is needed, so when reports are filed, they're fully investigated and action is taken when necessary to help reduce that number. Boyer says Maine can't keep looking the other way.
Abuse, we're talking about children. We have to give the Government Oversight Committee the tools and the power they need to do oversight. Who watches the watchmen?
In other news tonight, 2 schools in Winterport went into lockdown this morning following a report of possible gunshots heard while students and staff were outside. According to RSU 22 Superintendent Nick Raymond, around 9 a.m., the Leroy H. Smith School initiated a lockdown protocol after gunshots were believed to have been heard while pre-K students and staff were outside on the playground. The nearby Samuel Wagner Middle School implemented a secure protocol shortly after, while the situation was being investigated. Law enforcement responded immediately and conducted a thorough investigation of the area. Within an hour, it was determined there was no immediate threat. Both schools were fully cleared and operations resumed. We have reached out to local law enforcement and will share more information as it becomes available. The State Fire Marshal's office is investigating a fire that claimed the life of one person in Skowhegan. According to Skowhegan Fire and the Maine Department of Public Safety, crews were dispatched to 31 Way Street shortly after 5 p.m. Tuesday for a structure fire with possible entrapment. As soon as they arrived, firefighters did attempt a rescue but were met with heavy fire conditions. Skowhegan Fire says crews made every possible effort to rescue the victim trapped inside, but they were not successful. An adult was later located deceased inside that residence. The body was transported to the office of the chief medical examiner. Maine State Fire Marshals were on scene today and continued to investigate this incident. Well, with dozens of wildfires reported across the state in just the past week, our Alex Schley spoke with fire officials about what's behind the sudden spike.
In 2026 alone, more than 180 wildfires have been reported across Maine. One of the most recent burning 6 acres of forest in Oakland Monday.
So the initial report came from the police department. They were out on normal patrol. They wanted to know if we had any burn permits in the area. They could see some smoke, so we went to check that out. Then realized we had a much bigger fire.
Oakland Fire Chief David Coughlin says crews moved quickly, calling in mutual aid from neighboring departments.
We had fire departments that were bringing water and then supplying the lines. We had a forestry truck into the woods where we had to supply, as well as a lot of side-by-sides with smaller tanks on them. So they'd make their way back out and then fill up and go back in towards the fire.
Forestry crews also brought in a helicopter, dropping water from above as the team worked through the difficult terrain below. Officials say the fire was contained within a matter of hours. And while the exact cause of Monday's fire remains under investigation, forestry officials say the majority of wildfires in Maine can be traced back to human activity.
So in Maine, the biggest fire cause is debris burning. Behind debris burning, we also have equipment, whether that is someone who's trying to start some small engine and sparks fly out into some leaves or dry grass, or someone dragging chains from a trailer along the road that creates spark.
As conditions are continuing to dry out, fire officials are urging residents to take extra precautions.
So you always want to check conditions before you burn. You want to obtain a permit and make sure you're burning legal material.
Officials also say never hesitate to call the fire department if a fire gets out of control or has the potential to spread. In Oakland, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
There have been multiple incidents over the past week in which headstones and angel statues at Southside Cemetery in Skowhegan were vandalized. Now, Skowhegan police say they've arrested a man in connection with those incidents. 28-year-old Christian Newton of Skowhegan was arrested and charged with aggravated criminal mischief and interference with a cemetery or burial ground. Police say he was taken to the Somerset County Correctional Facility, his bail set at $2,500. According to Skowhegan police, there could be additional people involved, and they ask those with information to call them at 207-474-6908. The Bangor School Department will be temporarily closing one of its elementary schools next school year after discovering asbestos in the ceiling. The district will close the Fairmount School for the 2026 to 2027 school year. According to officials, they were preparing to do a roof repair at the elementary school and found undisturbed asbestos in the ceiling that needs to be addressed. Following an assessment, it was determined they could safely finish out the current school year, but will need to relocate for the upcoming school year so they can properly address any safety concerns. A district-wide team has been developing a plan for the temporary relocation. The department noted that all employees will continue to be employed as they determine the next steps. Back to the legislature now. On veto day, Maine Republicans held one final gathering to sum up their view of the session, the legislation, and particularly the budget. They said as the session adjourns, the state of Maine is at a crossroads. They say it can continue down what they call its current disastrous course or change direction in the next session. They talked about the budget that was passed, highlighting that this budget is a $12 billion budget that represents a 66% increase over the previous one. They questioned the level of spending, taxation, and whether Mainers are now better off than they were last year or in years prior. They cited failures in everything from addressing and combating fraud to education.
We have declining proficiency in reading and math. Can you imagine saying about a Maine kid that they don't know how to read at their grade level? Of course, there's kids who will struggle, but as a whole, we have a percentage of kids who can't read at their grade level. Absolutely unacceptable and completely ridiculous.
The Republicans said they are committed to flipping the narrow majority held by House Democrats in the hopes of changing the state's direction. Also at the State House Wednesday, Democrats held their own press conference outlining what they called a successful legislative session. Affordability took center stage as leaders highlighted a series of bills aimed at lowering costs for Mainers. They pointed to efforts to make child care more affordable, along with changes to health care, energy, housing, and other everyday expenses. Senate President Maddie Daughtry says she's proud of the work that's been done.
I want to say, I think one of the first press conferences I said that, affordability isn't just a buzzword or the word du jour right now. For us and for those of us standing in this room, this is something we've been fighting for before we even started having these press conferences. I think it's really in the DNA and fiber of everything we believe in.
Daughtry says while lawmakers have made progress this session, there is, of course, still more work ahead. She adds that one reason many Democrats are planning to run for re-election. Alrighty, folks, let's pause now and get a first look at our forecast.
All right, thank you very much. Temperatures took a step back today. We had 70s on Monday, 60 on Tuesday, then 50s across much of the area today. And we're not probably going to stop there. Cooler air is stuck with us for a while, likely into the weekend and beyond. We got a break in the rain today, though, for a while. Lots of clear skies for a couple hours, followed by the return of the main event is over here. This one drives in tonight, followed by rain showers throughout the day tomorrow. Some of this rain could be locally heavy tomorrow, although we do need the rain around here into tomorrow night and probably not ending until midday-ish on Friday. Futurecast shows clouding over again tonight, and then overall some rain showers are back in the forecast for tomorrow, and some of these darker green colors, yellows, are pockets of heavy rainfall. They come through midday tomorrow into Friday morning. Then the whole thing kind of gets out of here midday-ish on Friday, and we should save probably Saturday. Looks dry with temperatures near 60. Our forecast then for tonight, though, is rain showers out there again with low temperatures down near 40. Your full forecast is coming up.
Coming up on ABC 7 News at 6, an annual University of Maine event tackles hunger, seeking to help the 1 in 8 food insecure Mainers. And Herman High School students took over classrooms teaching money skills for Financial Literacy Month. We'll have those stories and more as ABC 7 News at 6 continues.
You're already getting squeezed because Susan Collins voted with Donald Trump to raise healthcare costs and raise insurance premiums. Now, Susan Collins voted to give Trump a blank check for his war in Iran.
Gas and oil prices are on the rise as the conflict in Iran continues.
The war in Iran is impacting the global economy and raising the prices you pay.
Tell Susan Collins to stop supporting Trump's wars. Mainers can't afford it.
Those Frank Webb home consultants? Experts, huh?
They really are. And these his and her sinks? Absolutely love. Best idea ever.
Does this happen often?
More than you think.
With working displays and expert consultants, you'll feel as though you're already in the space you imagine. Make yourself at home at Frank Webb Home.
Huckleberry's Card and Gift has a wide selection of puzzles for the entire family. Local items, including raised mustard and scone mix from the Scone Goddess, jewelry, town signs, coffee mugs, and much more. Located in front of the Brewer City Hall.
I got hurt by a big truck. Why did I call the twos? Because life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. We got a client who broke multiple bones in a commercial vehicle accident. $700,000. Call the twos. We win for you.
I'm State Representative Valley Geiger. I wrote a bill to ensure rape kits are tracked, to protect victims and identify perpetrators. Every year, its passage was blocked. But then I told Graham Plattner, and the first thing he said was, Valley, how can I help get this bill passed? He campaigned on it. We spoke to hundreds of Mainers about it. He brought in an army of volunteers to call about it, and the bill will soon become law. It's easy to focus on your own campaign. It's what most politicians do, but it's not what Graham did, because it's not who Graham is.
I'm Graham Plattner. I approve this message.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
An annual event aiming to feed the estimated 1 in 8 Mainers who are food insecure was held at the University of Maine today. Around 500 student and community partner volunteers took part in the annual Maine Day Meal Pack-Out to dish out roughly 80,000 meals. According to one organizer, the meals that the dozens of food pantries across Maine will be receiving are complete meals that are nutritionally dense and shelf-stable.
This event reinvigorates the spirit of service, and I hope that going forward, after seeing this event and the impact it has, people are inspired to make a similar commitment to giving back to the community.
Griffith says planning for next year's student-run event will begin tomorrow. No rest there, I guess. Herman High School students step into teaching roles for Financial Literacy Month as part of a national campaign to invest in the next generation. Our Alexa Kennedy will have that story for you after the break.
At Toyota, we believe longevity is the true measure of affordability. The longer something lasts, the further your money goes. So with Toyota being the longest lasting brand, your money goes the furthest. Now, during our longest lasting value event, you could get a $179 a month lease on a fuel-sipping Corolla gas sedan with an $11,264 total contract cost and 2 years no cost maintenance. See your New England Toyota dealer, your all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
Who is the real Graham Plattner? He calls rural Mainers stupid and racist. Plattner says some Maine lobstermen are drug-addicted pieces of shit. He blames Maine's women for getting raped because he says they get up drunk. Graham Plattner even bragged about a Nazi tattoo on his chest. He calls it eminently reasonable. That's the real Graham Plattner. To be continued. Pine Tree Results Pack is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This is Maine. Wild, real, undeniably bold, with deep roots and endless horizons. From Acadia to Katahdin, from labs to lobster boats, this is where you push limits, explore new ideas, and discover your potential. So call it grit, call it pride, call it ingenuity. Whatever it is, you've got it. This is Maine. Claim your place.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
Half-off deals are waiting for you at foxbangor.com. Click on half-off deals and see how much you can save only at foxbangor.com.
Folks, let's start on the ice where the Bruins forced Game 6 in their series with Buffalo with an overtime victory on a Tuesday night. With the series 3-1 in Buffalo's favor going into Game 5, the Bruins faced elimination. But after coming off an underwhelming Game 4 loss, Boston found their groove and played a solid game defensively against the Sabres. With the game tied 1-1 in overtime, it was who else but David Pastrnak who extended the series with the overtime winner. The series heading back to Boston. Pastrnak has one message for the Bees fans.
Just be loud, please, and be patient. We're going to shoot the puck, don't worry.
Short and simple, you got to love that. The Boston Celtics, though, disappointed fans on Tuesday night by failing to close out the Philadelphia 76ers in Game 5. Boston scored just 11 points in the fourth quarter in their 113-97 loss. You pair that with going 11 for 39 from three and allowing Joel Embiid to score 33 points. That is not a recipe for success.
Didn't make shots, and pace slowed down, and then you let Embiid do what he did. I just think we were just a little lackadaisical at times when we could have put him away, and we just messed around with the game. And when you have a team on the brink of elimination, you really got to put your foot on the gas and finish it.
While we're down there, we might as well go over to Fenway where the Red Sox released some disappointing news on Wednesday. Their ace Garrett Crochet has been placed on the 15-day injured list with left shoulder inflammation.
Just some fatigue that I was feeling in my last start. Was able to grind through it there at the end, but kind of just makes more sense to get ahead of it now, so I'm not playing catch up the rest of the season.
Staying with baseball, the Maine baseball team is traveling down to Portland tonight to take on the Northeastern Huskies at Hadlock Field. After a successful weekend at home versus UMBC and another win against Bowdoin on Tuesday, the Black Bears will pack their bags and cruise down I-95 to Portland, where they're set to play Northeastern at Hadlock Field, a neutral site for both squads. The two teams have faced off twice already this year. Their season series is split at 1 apiece. This is just the third time in program history the Black Bears will play in Portland, and it will be the first time for head coach Nick Durba, who says it's an exciting opportunity and he hopes the team can get down there more often.
For us to get down and play in front of, the other, basically half of the state of Maine is something that we really need to be able to do, and hopefully we continue to do that more. And, it's a great opportunity for us and for us to really get the program out to Southern Maine.
Check back in with us at 10 and 11 for highlights from that one. We will also have highlights from the Mount Ararat Bangor boys baseball game, a rematch of last year's Class A North Regional title game. For now, that's all the time we have for sports. Here's your full 5-day forecast.
All right, thank you. Rogan's Memorials give the gifts of comfort through thoughtful planning. We're talking weather out there today, and a big change, right? Temperatures back in the 50s across the area. We're probably not going to stop there. Cloudy and cool through tomorrow into Friday as well. Off and on rain showers tonight and throughout the day tomorrow. And then locally heavy rainfall cannot be ruled out. Somebody could see an inch or 2 or 3 of rainfall before we get to early parts of Saturday morning. All right, temperatures this morning, not awful. Basically mid-30s across the area, but not much recovery today, right? Only mid-50s here in Bangor, 54 for Millinocket. Some 60s back to the west where there was more sunshine today. But generally, again, it was on 70s on Monday, 60s on Tuesday, 50s across the area for today, as we are the cool kids across the country, right? As this is going to hang out with us for a little while, likely into the weekend, into early portions of next week. So we're not quite to campfire season quite yet, but just know we're going to turn this eventually around with warmer temperatures coming our way, but just not in the cards for us just yet, right? Out there today, the wind was a thing, basically onshore, around 25 miles per hour gusting there. So basically the waves been building all day long today, and they're going to stay kind of high tonight, and then tomorrow night likely drop off, followed by some more wind is back in the forecast later Saturday and Sunday. But for now, the waves out here onshore around 8-9 feet currently, 14 just offshore, and these are going to stay this way for tonight into tomorrow. So again, we have a small craft advisory out there, also a gale warning. Not a great time for recreation on the water, as you know, with temperatures hanging out near 45. Okay, so we had a break in the rain showers for a few hours today, followed by the return of the main event gets in here for tonight. Just off to the west of us now is going to bring in some rain showers tonight, but it could be some locally heavy rainfall in here. It has lots of moisture, lots of energy, and that's going to be right over us for tomorrow morning into tomorrow evening. So again, clouding back over for us tonight, rain showers in the area, light rain showers tonight. And then tomorrow, afternoonish or so, the yellows, the greens are pockets of heavy rainfall, likely throughout the day tomorrow. And this whole thing doesn't really wind down until midday-ish on Friday. So here with rain showers in the forecast for us, and the rain can be locally heavy. Someone could see an inch or 2 or 3 of rainfall before we get to probably Tuesday afternoon, but again, it will not fall all at once. Our forecast time for tonight, though, is rain showers again, or clouding back over, then rain showers. Look for low temperatures down near 40 or so. For tomorrow, all right, so rain is likely, locally heavy rainfall tomorrow, some thunder in there as well, with highs only in the upper 40s. That's not fair, right? With a gusty east wind. Then looking ahead, your 5-day forecast shows tomorrow 48, back in the 50s though for Friday, and then firmly mid-50s for Saturday into Sunday, and that's a 60 back in the forecast on Monday afternoon.
Jeff, thank you so much, and we will be right back.
Maine's premier community radio station, Star 97.7. Locally owned and operated for over 20 years with Paul and Mike in the morning, local weather with Steve McKay, and Michael W. Hale in the afternoon. Star 97.7.
We need to stop the trafficking of fentanyl. We've had serious issues. Our death rate climbed tremendously.
Susan Collins successfully fought to give law enforcement the critical tools they need to combat fentanyl traffickers.
And I don't know anybody else as sincere as Susan Collins is about keeping our young people and our communities safe. Thank you, Senator Collins, for delivering when it matters most.
After her accident, Alyssa knew the insurance company was playing games with her future, so she called Joe.
I knew I only had one opportunity to get this right.
The law offices of Joe Bornstein knows how to get you every dollar you deserve for your accident.
The outcome was amazing. I couldn't be happier. They got me way more than I expected.
The law offices of Joe Bornstein. Accidents happen to be their specialty.
If you want the best, call Joe.
Tell them you mean business.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Bush, and I know what you're thinking, not another Bush, but hear me out. I'm not a politician or a lobbyist. I'm a veteran, an entrepreneur who created over 900 jobs in Maine. And as governor, I'll take a sledgehammer to Janet Mills' wasteful spending. I'll slash your taxes, property, and income, and put the Democrats' woke policies in the shredder. I'm Jonathan Bush. It's time for a Johnny, don't touch the shredder.
Maine's premier community radio station, Star 97.7. Locally owned and operated for over 20 years with Paul and Mike in the morning. Local weather with Steve McKay and Michael W. Hale in the afternoon. Star 97.7.
Herman High School students step into teaching roles for Financial Literacy Month as part of a national campaign to invest in the next generation. Our Alexa Kennedy has the story.
Wednesday, a personal finance class from Herman High School visited Patricia A. Duran Elementary School to teach financial literacy to fourth graders. The high school students led younger kids in their community through the basics of saving, spending, and budgeting. The effort is part of Teen Teach In, a project of the nonprofit Jumpstart Coalition for Personal Financial Literacy.
You can't start too young. They learn something by teaching somebody else how to do something, whether it's budgeting or banking or anything, so it's good for everybody.
Held in schools across the country for Financial Literacy Month, the campaign gives high schoolers the opportunity to lead and younger students the chance to learn. The high school class prepared a skit and prizes to keep students engaged and learning. Herman High School student Stephen Lancaster says he wished he had the same opportunity when he was their age.
We're here to teach these kids some financial literacy skills early on, get them a head start on it, because I know I didn't get a head start on it.
Lancaster says the teaching experience was just as valuable for him.
I'm not too big on public speaking, but this is a great way to kind of like get in that mode and help other people, especially younger kids. And I get experience from it too, so it's a win-win for both sides.
For younger students, the lesson has already made an impact.
I want to save it because I could buy anything if I have enough money.
In Herman, Alexa Kennedy, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Tomorrow is National Therapy Animal Day, a day to celebrate and learn about the work these animals contribute to society. For one middle school in Old Town, they're taking that to heart. Our Doug Banks shows us.
There's a class at Leonard Middle School in Old Town that doesn't require a textbook or a calculator.
We get to learn about the dog and also interact with the dogs, which is pretty cool.
A pilot program for the elective class began in November. Led by Pet Partners of Eastern Maine's Executive Director, Stacy Coventry, students dive into the world of therapy dogs. They learn everything from what animal-assisted intervention is to understanding canine body language.
Next week we'll talk about training and then anything that they have questions about too that they want to explore.
Assistant Principal Abby Marvin says they had about 20 students sign up.
And it was a huge success.
A lot of kids, when they see pets, they get more calm.
A feeling much needed, especially on one winter day.
It was definitely scary because nobody knew what was happening. We're all just pushed in one room.
Back in January, there was a swatting call at an elementary school nearby, forcing Leonard Middle School to go into lockdown. A nerve-wracking moment for everyone. Coincidentally, Stacy and her dog Coda were in the parking lot awaiting the last day of their pilot class with the school. When they were let in, they went right to work, providing support when it was needed most.
It's not like they can judge you for being scared.
Additional teams from Pet Partners came in for support.
They felt that this was critical.
I think it helped kids kind of stay in school and feel safe to stay in school that day after something like that.
Now, the class is on week 3 of a new term.
They really are seeing the benefits of it, and they are understanding that there's more to this.
With hopefully more days and classes ahead.
You don't have to tell them everything, they can just help.
It's really neat to see the partnership cause a ripple effect out into the community.
In Old Town, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Can't help but smile at that story. Alrighty, folks, that's going to do it for us. From everyone here at ABC 7 News, take care and have a great rest of your night. And for more, join us over on Fox 22 News tonight at 6:30.
I'm Graham Plattner, and I approve this message.
Plattner knows what it means to fight a war. When Graham got home, he struggled, like a lot of us. The same politicians who sent him to fight that.
His godmother or the Wicked Witch of the West, or or Galinda. It doesn't make any difference. You've been driving the car. Stop kvetching. Goodbye.
Can I say one thing, please?
No.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
My opinion's the only one that counts.
His mother is a narcissist, and it's everything she's doing to put stuff against me, people against me.
I'm an adult. I'm caught in the middle. He's been using me to aggravate my mother.
I gave his mother title for this car back in October of 2018.
Daniel has been withholding the title from me.
And I went ahead and even sent him another title, and here I am in court.
In order to aggravate my now 8-month-old pregnant mother with his child.
A sheriff came to my house one day with a restraining order.
And we did have a civil arrangement that he breached.
Because I was texting his mother about the plates on this car.
The insurance, I was unaware, was off the vehicle, which I had been paying him up until that point.
So the sheriff says to me, he says, drop the insurance. I said, okay.
And I did have to pay many fines.
Not my problem.
Go our separate ways.
Wash my hands. I'm done.
Probably time to get myself another car.
This is Fox 22 News Tonight.
It is veto day at the legislature, and we are monitoring the House of Representatives, which has yet to act on a hotly contested piece of legislation. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Beth Jones. That legislation seeks to allow access to certain confidential records pertaining to DHHS child welfare cases. Our Callie Warren joins us now live from Augusta with more on what's transpiring there today. Callie.
Well, Beth, as you said, veto day is a time for our legislators to return to Augusta. They take up any unfinished business that they may still need to address, and as the name implies, they tackle any bills that were vetoed by the governor. The Senate adjourned just a little bit after 4:30 p.m., but the House still has one item on the table. According to some of the representatives that we've spoken with,